I think Mithraa has joined in. Great. So I request you all to keep both your hands visible throughout the quiz. This is an India track quiz, right? So I'll just start the recording. Oh, recording's already started. Great. So welcome to game 177 of FLQL. I am Asmit. I'll be your reader for today. On seat 1, we have Utkarsh. On seat 2, we have Mithraa. On seat 3, we have Piyush. And on seat 4, we have Vidya. So starting with the quiz. Direct for Utkarsh. So this is an India set. Dead Man's Bones is a rock duo of Zach Shields and which actor, apart from vocals, this actor plays keyboard for a band, a skill that came in handy for his 2016 musical film, where he is seen playing I Ran by a Flock of Seagulls. Utkarsh, you're direct.
Gosling?
That is incorrect. Can you repeat once?
Ryan Gosling?
Oh, Ryan Gosling. Ryan Gosling is indeed correct. Points to Utkarsh. Second question for Utkarsh. The Sporting Alien, English Sports Lost Dash is a book by Mihir Bose that examines English sport and reports how it shapes the lives of both English people and millions around the world. Fill in the blanks with a word that has a mythical association with an English legend and is also the name of a US president's administration.
That's 7 letters, right?
Yup, 7 letters.
Is it unicorn?
That is incorrect. Passing on to Mithraa.
I pass.
Passing on to Piyush.
I'll pass.
Vidya.
Pass.
All right. So the answer was Camelot.
Oh, shit.
All right. Direct for Mithraa now. A Pair of Blue Eyes is a novel by Thomas Hardy, serialized between 1872 and 1873. While it is considered one of Hardy's minor works, a focus of critical interest is seen in which Henry Knight, the second suitor, reviews the entire history of the world as he dangles perilously for dear life. Repeatedly, the origin of which trope, the original Italian job, ends with this trope in a very literal sense. Your direct, Mithraa.
I'll just guess twist in the climax.
That is incorrect. Passing on to Piyush.
A flashback.
That is incorrect. Vidya.
Pass.
Utkarsh.
A cliffhanger?
That is indeed correct. Points to Utkarsh. The answer is cliffhanger. All right. Next question for Mithraa. In Assassin's Creed Syndicate, which scientist is found to be investigating a factory that produced an opium-based drug called soothing syrup? The game takes place in London in 1868, and as an additional clue, it is a paleontologist, Richard Owen, who was responsible for an article defaming the scientist in real life. Who provides clue about the syrup in the game? Mithraa, you're direct.
Mendele.
That is incorrect. Passing on to Vidya. Vidya, are you passing?
Yeah, pass.
Piyush.
Darwin.
That is indeed correct. The answer is Charles Darwin. All right. Moving on to the next question directed towards Piyush. Which person from the history of Indian subcontinent was named so because his mother was rid of all her sorrows when he was born?
Ashoka.
That is indeed correct. Brilliant answering there. The answer is Ashoka. Next question for Piyush. Activist archivist Adrian Glew recently discovered a passage in Henry Simpson's autobiography about his time spent as a sculptor at a French cathedral in the 19th century. There he talked about a repair work going on, not unlike now, when Simpson met Monsieur Trajan, a sculptor suffering from kyphosis, and Monsieur Le Bossu. Several theories suggest that Trajan and Bossu may have been the inspiration behind which fictional character? Piyush, your question.
Quasimodo.
Quasimodo. That is indeed correct. The answer is Quasimodo or Hunchback of Notre Dame. All right. Question for Vidya now. Several controversies surround around shows created by TV writer Ryan Murphy. In the show Feud, Betty and Joan, which dramatized the rivalry between Betty Davis and Joan Crawford. Another actor was portrayed by Catherine Zeta-Jones, took issues with how she was portrayed like a vulgar gossip monger. Which Hollywood star is this, who in 1965 became the first female president of the jury at the Cannes Film Festival? Her mother named her after the heroine in Twelfth Night. Vidya, you're direct.
Ophelia.
Can you repeat?
Ophelia.
Ophelia is incorrect. Passing on to Mithraa.
I pass.
Utkarsh.
Pass.
Piyush.
You'll not accept the first name, right?
No. The last name is the keyword for it.
Pass plus.
All right.
Some Viola.
So the answer was Olivia de Havilland.
Oh,
All right. Moving on to next question. Again, a direct for Vidya. The flags of these two countries are almost identical. Two horizontal stripes, red over white, but the dimensions differ. One flag has a height to width ratio of 2:3, while the other one is 4:5. Both flags date back hundreds of years. One is based on the heraldic colors in the shield of the Monegasque princely arms, and the other dates back to its association with the Majapahit Empire. Name both countries. You're direct, Vidya.
Poland and Morocco. Sorry, Monaco.
That is incorrect. Poland and Monaco are incorrect. Moving on to Mithraa.
Pass.
Passing on to Utkarsh.
Indonesia and Monaco.
That is indeed correct. The answer is Indonesia and Monaco. Great answering there. Moving on to the next round, direct for Utkarsh now. Super Science Friends is an animated series and later video game about a team of superpowered scientists who travel through time fighting Nazis. Which main character on Super Science Friends, a physicist, chemist, and a master of radioactivity, is voiced by Sasha Bogulyova in episode 1, Hedy Gregor in episodes 2 to 5, and Agnieszka Wisniewska in episode 6? Utkarsh, you're direct.
Curie.
That is indeed correct. Marie Curie is the correct answer. Moving on to the next question for Utkarsh. Designer duo Levine Patishvili and David Babishvili from Georgia created the project called Digital Chronicles, where they have creatively stylized a year from a notable event with the digits being an indicator towards the event. What event happened in the mentioned year where the B and the C form a narrow passage for the number to fit through, representing the narrow passage on which this historical event was played out? At least 300 men were involved on one site.
Battle of Thermopylae.
That is indeed correct. The answer is Battle of Thermopylae. Moving on to the next question for Mithraa. Shown here is a thoroughbred recreated image that won the Kentucky Derby in 1877 with his jockey William Bockel. ID the horse who shares his name with a German spa town whose repetitive name means bathing. Mithraa, this is your direct.
I don't know. Pass.
Passing on to Vidya.
Baden.
Baden is indeed correct. All right. Next question for Mithraa. In the 2023 Screen Life thriller Missing, the story is told through the perspective of social media apps and add-ons, including Google Maps. While it helps June in the film, Google Maps previously used a variant of which projection and therefore could not accurately show areas around Earth's pole. This projection is named after a Flemish cartographer famous for finding maps that used his cylindrical and Eurocentric map projection into the Atlas of 1595, the first recorded use of the term Atlas. Mithraa, you're direct.
Pass.
Passing on to Vidya.
Pass.
Piyush.
Mercator.
Mercator is indeed correct. Called Mercator projection. All right. Moving on, direct for Piyush now. Born in China, Chua Miati, pronounced as Chua Miati, is widely acknowledged as one of the greatest living artists today of which country? His portrait of Yusuf Ishaq, the first president of the country, is reproduced today on all currency notes circulated there. Piyush, you're direct.
Can you scroll down?
You have 20 seconds remaining.
Malaysia.
Malaysia is incorrect. Passing on to Mithraa.
Pass.
Vidya.
Singapore.
Singapore is indeed correct. The answer is Singapore. All right. Moving on to the next question for Piyush. Mihir Bose's book Dash Unlimited and Dash Disunited are both on which football club? While the first has the tagline The Rise and Rise of the World's Premier Football Club, which details its transformation into a money making machine, the second has the tagline Trouble and Takeover at the World's Richest Football Club. Piyush?
Manchester.
I'll be requiring the name of the football club. So
Yeah, Manchester United.
that is indeed correct. The answer is Manchester United. Moving on, next question directed towards Vidya. June uses the camera to tell which virtual assistant powered by Nuance Communications, a speech technology company, to call the police in missing spinal movements. Co-founded by Dag Kitlos, Tom Gruber, and Adam Shear, Kitlos named the virtual assistant by shortening the name of a co-worker in Norway, whose Old Norse name is composed of the elements Sigro, victory, and Frior, beautiful. Vidya, you're direct.
Pass.
Passing on to Mithraa.
Siri.
Siri is indeed correct. The answer is Siri. All right. Moving on to the next question, again for Vidya. The design from Digital Chronicles shows the year when an author killed himself using his favorite shotgun. The 9 and the 6 placed adjacent to each other form two holes reminiscent of the bore or the hollow interior of the double-barreled shotgun. Which author?
Ian Fleming.
That is incorrect. Mithra?
Is this Hemingway?
That is indeed correct. The answer is Ernest Hemingway. Great answering there. Moving on to the next round, question for Utkarsh. Founded by Vinay Bagri and Virendra Bisht, which Indian fintech company positions itself as the preferred payment solution for Indians traveling overseas with its flagship brand Global, which includes credit and debit cards with no forex marker? The name of the company is homophonous with a loosely used term to describe digital financial service providers, especially those accepting consumer deposits. Utkarsh, you're direct.
DigiBank.
DigiBank is incorrect. Mithra,
Pass.
Vidya.
Is it new?
Neo is indeed correct. The answer is neo or play on the term neo.
Nice.
All right. Next question directed towards Utkarsh. Shown here is a thoroughbred that won the Kentucky Derby in 1881 with his jockey James McLaughlin. Ideally, the horse whose name might remind you of the archaic spelling of the most popular religion in Asia. Utkarsh, you're direct.
Yep. Just Hindu.
That is the correct answer. So the answer is Hindu, an archaic spelling of Hindu. So points to Utkarsh for that. Next question directed towards Mithraa. The largest terrestrial arthropod is known to have the strongest grip in the animal kingdom and for their ability to carry away food, thus earning the moniker robber. These creatures are named after which tropical plant, which surprisingly does not make up the majority of its diet? Mithraa, you're direct.
Uh, I don't know, mango trees.
Mango trees is incorrect. Passing on to Utkarsh.
Pass.
Piyush.
Coconut.
Coconut is indeed correct. The answer is coconut or palm tree. Great answering there. Next question for Mithraa. The Eraviculum National Park is in the Western Ghats near Munnar and the highest peak in South India, Anamudi, 2,695 meters is found here. However, the greatest attraction of the park is a beautiful palatials that can be seen here on an infrequent basis. It was last spotted in 2006 and 2018. Which flora or fauna are we talking about that in turn is responsible for the mountain range to be called Nilgiris? Mithraa,
The Kurunji flowers.
that is indeed correct. The answer is the Nil Kurunji, Kurunji being the keyword.
Oh,
All right. Next question directed for Piyush. Which scientist slash polymath plays an important role in Assassin's Creed 3 as a body womanizer? His appearance involves him looking for the missing page of his first almanac and the signing of the Declaration of Independence. Interestingly, he is thus far the only character in Assassin's Creed franchise to be portrayed by different actors in all his appearances. Direct for Piyush.
Ben Franklin.
That is indeed correct. The answer is Ben Franklin or Benjamin Franklin. All right, next question again for Piyush. Early in his career, Argentine musician, composer, and record producer Gustavo Santaolalla composed the score for which Alejandro Gonzalez Inarritu debut movie released in 2000. The movie contains three distinct stories connected by a car crash in Mexico City and became a landmark in hyperlink cinema. Mani Ratnam's Yuva, which was made in Tamil as Aita Ariyat, is loosely inspired by this movie. Direct for Piyush.
Let's take a random guess. Itu Mama Tambu.
That is incorrect. Utkarsh,
Pass.
Mithraa.
Ameros Peros.
That is indeed correct. The answer is Amores Perros, or Love is a Bitch. Moving on to the next question for Vidya. A gravestone at Norwich Cathedral suggests that a certain Elizabeth Frank was born on April 13th, 1736, and she died on February 20th, 1736. In 2016, David Berwick, a tour guide at the cathedral, suggested that both dates are accurate. How is this obvious anomaly explained? Direct for Vidya.
Pass.
Passing on to Utkarsh.
Is it because of the change in calendar to Gregorian?
I'll prompt you.
So they changed the calendar from Julian to Gregorian.
That is indeed correct. He shifted from the Julian to Gregorian calendar. Points to Utkarsh for that. All right, next question for Vidya. Founded by former banker Vipul Sharma, which Indian neobank positions itself as the preferred digital bank for small and medium businesses and shop owners? Ironically, being a digital bank, it does not provide the once ubiquitous banking product it is named after, with a creative spelling, of course, as a default offering to its customers. Vidya, your direct.
Red.
Red is incorrect. Moving on to Utkarsh.
Pass.
Passing on to Mithraa.
Pass.
Passing on to Piyush.
Khata book.
Khata book is incorrect. Good guess though. The answer was checkbook.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah.
All right. Question for Utkarsh now. Moving on to the next round. One of the best uses of cliffhangers was by Charles Dickens in his works, which work from 1841 led to riots in the dock of New York Harbor by Dickens fanboy, as they waited for the British ship carrying the next installment of the book and then yelling out, "Is little Nell dead?" Utkarsh, your direct.
Bleak House.
That is incorrect. Mithraa,
Pass.
Vidya,
Pass.
Piyush.
Pass.
All right. So the answer was the Old Curiosity Shop.
Wow.
All right. Next question for Utkarsh. Actress Kareena Kapoor played which character in the 2001 Santosh Sivam film Ashoka? Despite Ashoka having many queens, she is the only queen of Ashoka who was named in his inscriptions and edicts.
Mhm. Korwaki.
Can you repeat?
Korwaki.
That is indeed correct. The answer is Korwaki or Karuwaki. All right. Next question directed for Mithraa. The Ryan Murphy show has child physical and psychological abuse, lobotomies, and other inhuman medical treatments. The disturbing content forced viewers to urge Netflix to add a trigger warning, with one fan suggesting blood, gore, and murder, but there's lesbophobia and child abuse too. Which show, named after the infamous antagonist in a Ken Kesey book?
Nurse Ratchet. Nurse Ratchet.
Ratchet is indeed correct.
Hmm.
The answer is Ratchet. Oh,
Okay.
moving on to the next question. In his 1999 book, Sports Dash, Mihir Bose discusses the scandals and secrecies of personalities such as Mike Tyson, Martina Navratilova, Magic Johnson, etc. He appropriately titled the book after which place, A Hub of Scandalous Activities in the Ancient Past, a 2022 film about the transition of Hollywood from silent to sound movies, shares the same title, and a 2010 British documentary film about the record breaking West Indies cricket team of the 1970s and 1980s features the place in its title.
Babylon.
Babylon is indeed correct. Points to Mithraa. All right, moving on to the next question, direct for Piyush. Founded by former Citrus Pay and Teyu managing director Jitendra Gupta, which Indian neobank, regrettably is not the largest in its field, unlike the heavenly body, which is the largest of its kind in the solar system and which it is named after.
Jupiter.
Jupiter is indeed correct. Points to Piyush. Next question. A brilliant example of cliffhanger is which 2012 thriller novel by James Patterson and Michael Ledwidge, as it's never known which animal might attack next or which character might die. No survivor is safe, as the pack of animals has gone aggressive due to excessive cell phone use and automobile exhaust and has escaped into densely populated areas. The oldest surviving example of the title of the novel is at the Schönbrunn in Vienna. Twenty seconds remaining.
Uh, uh, Beehive.
Beehive is incorrect. Vidya,
Vampire.
that is vampire is incorrect too. Utkarsh,
Pass.
Mithraa.
Pass.
All right. So the answer was zoo.
Oh, just Zoo. Shit, Zoo.
Okay.
Wow.
All right. Next question directed for Vidya. While most of its kind is prized for their flesh, this prehistoric creature is prized for its blood, which is used to make the limulus amobicide lysate, LAL, which is used for detection of bacterial and endotoxins, in medical applications. Identify this distinctive arthropod that is named for its hard shell being shaped like a U-shaped piece of metal. Vidya, you're direct.
Pass.
All right. Passing on to Utkarsh.
Horseshoe crab.
Horseshoe crab is indeed correct. The U-shaped piece of metal was a good hint for it. Next question for Vidya. Formed in 1936, this was the first national park in India. It was named for William Haley, a governor of the United Provinces in which it was then located. This was also the first park to come under the Project Tiger initiative. Name the park, renamed for a person who, after his retirement, relocated to Kenya.
Corbett.
That is indeed correct. The answer is Jim Corbett National Park. Moving on to the next round, direct for Utkarsh. This 1981 painting by Chua Miyati is called Vanishing Scene of Blank Blank, with the blanks representing the Singapore locale that is, as the title suggests, better known today for its seafood and nightlife scene, including Harry's Bar, where Nick Leeson was a regular. Than for the mode of transport one sees here. Fill in the blank. Direct for Utkarsh.
Could you scroll down a little bit?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Two options. Is it Clark Key?
Can you repeat?
Clark Key?
That is incorrect.
Ah,
Moving on to Mithraa.
Pass.
Vidya.
Boat key.
That is indeed correct. The answer is Boat Key or Boat K. All right. Moving on to the next question. These two flags share the same dimensions and basic green, yellow, red design for vertical stripes. Although there are slight shade differences in the colors, in addition, one flag is distinguished by its green star in the central stripe. Name either of these two African countries that share borders. Direct for Utkarsh. You have to name either of the two countries.
Mauritania?
Can you repeat?
Mauritania?
That is incorrect. Moving on to Mithraa.
Cameroon?
That is incorrect. Piyush,
Senegal.
can you repeat?
Senegal.
Senegal is correct. So, any non-coms for the other flag?
The Gambia?
No. So, the answer is Senegal and Mali.
Uh,
All right. Next question for Mithraa. The Futurist is a debut solo album by which actor whose song Broken appears in the end credits of the 2005 film Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, in which he features as a lead actor. Direct for Mithraa. Ten seconds remaining.
Uh, I don't know. Jared Leto.
That is incorrect. Utkarsh,
Pass.
Vidya,
Pass.
Piyush.
No, I'll take a non-com.
So, are you passing?
Yeah,
All right. Non-coms?
Adam Sandler.
No, Adam Sandler is incorrect. The answer is Robert Downey Jr. All right. Moving on to the next question for Mithraa again. In 2013, Gustavo Santaolalla composed the score for which John Wells movie, which was produced by George Clooney and starred an ensemble cast consisting of Meryl Streep, Sam Shepard, Julia Roberts, and Benedict Cumberbatch, amongst others. The movie was written by Tracy Letts and was based on his 2007 Pulitzer Prize winning play of the same name.
Is it August Osage County?
That is indeed correct. Great answering there. The answer is August Osage County. Moving on to the next question for Piyush. ID this Ryan movie show that received backlash from victims' family, calling it insensitive. Several viewers also criticized Netflix for giving it a LGBTQ plus tag since the titular character was gay.
Dama.
All right. Dahmer is indeed correct. The answer is Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story. Moving on to the next question. The flag of each of these countries boasts an identical design, but with the colors reversed. Both have their origins in the Danish flag, which with its red field and white Scandinavian cross. ID both countries. Your direct Piyush.
Finland and Iceland.
That is incorrect. Moving on to Utkarsh.
Norway and Finland.
That is incorrect. Mithraa.
Norway and Iceland.
That is indeed
Oh,
correct.
yeah.
So the answer is Norway and Iceland. Great answering there. Question for Vidya now. One of Chuamyati's most popular sculptures is the bust of the composer Zubir Said, who composed a fair bit of film music in his lifetime, but is largely remembered today in Singapore for which specific composition? Your direct Vidya.
National anthem.
That is indeed correct. The national anthem of Singapore. Next question for Vidya. The Battle of Kalinga between Ashoka's army and the state of Kalinga in present day Odisha is one of the deadliest battles in Indian history. What name did they give to northern Kalinga back then, now still recalled for its presence in the Indian national anthem?
Utkala.
Can you repeat?
Utkala.
Utkala is indeed correct.
Mm.
All right, moving on to the next round. Question for Utkarsh. Macrocera camphori has the greatest leg span of any known arthropod, reaching up to 3.7 meters or 12.1 feet from claw to claw. It is named after an island nation it is commonly found in, and another arthropod Identify the creature. Direct for Utkarsh. Twenty seconds remaining.
Can we have hands on screen for?
Solomon crab.
That is incorrect. Moving on to Mithra.
Pass.
Vidya.
Pass.
Piyush.
Japanese spider crab.
That is indeed correct. The
Wow.
answer is Japanese spider crab. I guess the image was very helpful, the number plate.
Yeah, same.
All right. Next question for Utkarsh. In Missing, June tries to use which app to hire someone to retrieve CCTV footage from the Cartagena hotel her mother and her mother's boyfriend went missing from. She soon realizes that she should try the Colombian version of this online and mobile marketplace that Leah Busk founded when she had no time to buy dog food, basing it on the idea of neighbors helping neighbors. Direct for you, Utkarsh.
Goodamigo.com.
Goodamigo.com is incorrect. Moving on to Mithra.
Pass.
Passing on to Vidya.
Pass.
Passing on to Piyush.
Pass.
Right. So the answer was Task Rabbit.
Oh,
Uh,
All right. Next question for Mithra. Shown here is an astronomical clock inside the Exeter Cathedral in southwest England. This clock supposedly led to the origins of which 18th century nursery rhyme. Although apocryphal, it is true that animal fat was used to lubricate the gears and ropes, which invited the said menace to climb inside and chew on the ropes. Mithra, your turn, right?
Yeah.
15 seconds remaining.
And pass.
Passing on to Vidya.
Pass.
Passing on to Utkarsh.
Hickory Dickory Dock.
That is indeed correct. Hickory Dickory Dock is the correct answer. All right. Moving on to the next question, again for Mithra. This design from Digital Chronicles shows the year when a certain literary piece by an Italian author was published. The one is stylized to represent the most well-known attribute of the titular character. Which literary piece? 20 seconds remaining, Mithraa.
Pass.
Passing on to Vidya.
Pass.
Utkarsh.
Pinocchio.
Pinocchio is indeed correct.
Wow.
Oh, yes.
So the one has the nose of Pinocchio, the wooden nose. All right. Next question for Piyush. Shown here is a thoroughbred that won the Kentucky Derby in 1935 with his jockey William Saunders. ID the horse who shares his name with a city in the USA and a sandy region, which would be the site of a bloody confrontation 9 years later. The region till date contains shrapnel from the devastating encounter.
Omaha.
Can you repeat?
Omaha.
Omaha is indeed correct. The answer is Omaha, reference to the Omaha beach where the Normandy landing took place. Next question for Piyush. They are not lonely organisms, despite what their common name may suggest. Which arthropod's name comes from them carrying their home made of small snail shells on their back to protect their soft abdomen? They take shells from other species that have no further use for them. When a new shell appears, they will stand in a queue to try it on.
Hermit crab.
Hermit crab is indeed correct. Great answering there. Moving on, question for Vidya. Finally, out of PE, 2005 is the debut and the only album by which Oscar-winning actress. She even lends her voice to the film version of the song Black Sheep in Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. Her most iconic role is playing Carol Danvers, a US Air Force pilot turned space traveling amnesiac who becomes imbued with godly superpowers. Vidya?
Sandra Bullock.
That is incorrect. Moving on to Mithraa.
Mm. Forgetting. Pass.
Passing on to Utkarsh.
Pass.
Piyush.
Brie Larson.
Brie Larson
Correct.
is indeed correct. Carol Danvers was Captain Marvel. All right. Next question for Vidya. Gustavo Santaolalla won his first Academy Award for Best Score for which 2005 movie starring Heath Ledger and Jake Gyllenhaal. Ang Lee won a Best Director Oscar for this movie as well. Vidya?
Brokeback Mountain.
Brokeback Mountain is indeed correct. Points to Vidya for that. Moving on to the next round. Question for Utkarsh. ID this show held by Ryan Murphy, whose controversies included star Mark Solling getting arrested for child pornography and Leah Michelle being called out by cast members for bullying on set. The show's title is a style of song for men's voices in 3 or more parts, usually unaccompanied, that were popular in England in the late 18th century and early 19th century. Utkarsh?
A cappella.
A cappella is incorrect. Mithraa?
Pass.
Passing on to Vidya.
Sopranos.
That's incorrect too. Piyush?
Glee.
Glee is indeed correct.
Oh,
Glee is a style of song.
yeah. Even I even I was thinking Glee.
Yeah,
I didn't know it was a
see
style
that.
of song.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've seen the
Threw me
show.
off.
I didn't focus on that hit a lot.
Okay.
Usually, like in a cappella, the songs are accompanied. In this, they've written usually unaccompanied. So,
Okay.
all right. Moving on. The next question for Utkarsh. Gustavo Santaolalla made his Bollywood debut when he composed the score for which 2010 movie, directed by Kiran Rao and co-produced by Amir Khan, starring Pratik Babbar in the role of a launderer and Monica Dogra. It also featured a song composed by Ryuichi Sakamoto.
Dhobi Ghat.
Dhobi Ghat is indeed correct. Points to Utkarsh for that. Moving on to the next question for Mithraa. None of the world's national flags are as closely matched to each other as these two. While the Romanian flag, the flag below, dates from 1861, based on earlier versions with horizontal stripes, which country's flag, the flag on top, was first hoisted in 1959 on independence from France. The country shares its name with the piece that you remove when you make a hole in a piece of paper or card. Mithra?
France. Uh, Guyana.
That is incorrect. Passing on to Vidya.
Pass.
Passing on to Utkarsh.
Pass.
Piyush.
Chad. Chad.
Chad is indeed correct.
Very nice.
Next question for Mithra. Ashoka, popularly known as Ashoka the Great, ruled as the third emperor of which empire of the Indian subcontinent during circa 268 to 232 BC? According to Buddhist tradition, the ancestors of these kings had settled in a region where peacocks were abundant.
Mauryas.
That is indeed correct. The answer is Mauryas. Moving on to the next question for Piyush. Which app, whose name is derived from the term vendor mobile, does the protagonist, June, use to split her bills with her friend Veena in Missing? Ikram, Magdon Ismail, and Andrew Cortina, who met as freshman year roommates at University of Pennsylvania, came up with the idea of this app after Magdon Ismail forgot his wallet when visiting Cortina in New York in 2009 and had to rely on his friend to pay for everything upfront.
Venmo.
Venmo is indeed correct. Moving on to the next question, again for Piyush. This design from Digital Chronicle shows the year in which a revolutionary politician was brutally murdered far away from his home country. The one is stylized to represent a mountaineering axe, the weapon used to commit the crime, who was murdered.
Trotsky.
Trotsky is indeed correct. Great answering there by Piyush. Next question for Vidya. Blank vs. Lovecraft is a twin stick shooter video game by Finnish studio 10 Tons, in which Lovecraft steals all of the titular scientist's inventions and uses them to open a dimensional gateway for the monsters described in his fiction. Which scientists do players control in the game? Also, the blank in the game's title, as they attempt to stop Lovecraft. The stealth is eerily reminiscent of the actual happenings from the scientist's life.
Tesla.
That is indeed correct. The answer is Nikola Tesla. Right, moving on to the next question for Vidya. False Messiah, Life and Times of Redacted is a book by Mihir Bose about which former English footballer who has played for Chelsea, Tottenham, Queen's Park, among others. He also coached England from 1994 and came under scrutiny for his business dealings, which form the crux of Bose's book. Vidya?
Pass.
Passing on to Mithraa,
I pass.
Utkarsh,
Pass.
Piyush.
Pass.
All right. The answer was Terry Venables. All right. Moving on to the final round of today's set. Question to Utkarsh. Many movies, most based on books, are initially scheduled to film inside the Westminster Abbey. However, given that it is notoriously difficult to get permit to shoot there, which cathedral, 165 miles away, often plays a substitute for Westminster Abbey? Some examples are Da Vinci Code, the Young Victoria, the King. The name is shared with that of the surname of a head of state and a shade of green. Utkarsh?
Murmu Green.
That is incorrect. Mithra,
Pass.
Vidya,
Pass.
Piyush.
Pass.
All right. The answer was Lincoln Cathedral.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Question should specify if it's current head or old head.
Yeah.
All right. Last direct question for Utkarsh. Of the 40 World Heritage Sites in India, only one is a mixed heritage site. That is, it satisfies criteria related to both cultural and natural heritage. The natural heritage here includes a mountain, the third tallest in the world, and a glacier, one of the largest in Asia. The sacred mountain also gives its the status of a cultural heritage site. Name the national park named for this mountain. Utkarsh?
Kanchenjunga National Park.
That is indeed correct. The answer is Kanchenjunga National Park. Moving on to the next question, directed towards Mithraa. Founded by former Googlers Sujit Narayanan and Sumit Gwalani, which Indian neobank positions itself as the preferred bank for young urban digital natives? The company recently launched a credit card in partnership with Federal Bank under a brand name that also contains the two-letter brand name it usually operates under.
Is it FI?
FI is indeed correct. The answer is FI or Epify. Moving on to the next question for Mithraa. Arguably, the most widely acclaimed painting by Chua Miyati is National Language Class from 1959, which portrays a group of Chinese students learning which Austronesian language? Direct for Mithraa.
Malay.
Malay is indeed correct.
Oh.
The answer is Malay. All right. Moving on to the next question, direct for Piyush. Wicked Wisdom is a new metal band formed in 2002 by which actress to promote their debut album? The band opened for Britney Spears' Onyx Hotel tour in 2004. The actress in question was certainly not in G.I. Jane. In 1997, she was busy filming Scream 2 and lending her voice to the animated film Princess Mononoke.
Dada Smith.
That is indeed correct. The answer is Jada Pinkett Smith. Moving on to the next question. Kaziranga National Park started as a protected area in 1905 after Viceroy Curzon's wife could not see a single rhino on her visit due to poaching. The protected area was given the name of Kaziranga X Sanctuary in 1960, and this name continued until 1950. Even though hunting was banned here from 1938 onwards, finally in 1950, X was replaced with wildlife to rid the park name of any hunting connotations. What is X? 4 letters. Twenty seconds remaining.
Prey.
Prey is incorrect. Passing on to Mithraa.
Pass.
Vidya,
Trap.
can you repeat?
Trap.
Trap is incorrect too. Moving on to Utkarsh.
Game.
Game is indeed correct. That will fetch you points. All right, moving on to the last 2 questions of the set. Shown here is a thoroughbred that won the Kentucky Derby in 1917 with his jockey Charles Burrell. ID the horse who shares his name with a Persian polymath born in Nishapur, the initial capital of the Seljuk Empire. The polymath is associated with a poetic form involving quatrains, as well as one of the earliest solutions to the cubic equation. Direct for Vidya.
Puzzle.
Can you repeat?
Puzzle.
That is incorrect. Moving on to Mithraa.
Pass.
Utkarsh.
Omar Khayyam.
That is indeed
Oh.
correct. Umar Khayyam is the correct answer. Moving on to the last question of the set, directed towards Vidya. One of the earliest uses of the cliffhanger in literature, even before the term was coined, was in the Middle Ages when a story would end every night on a cliffhanger, and this would prolong the life of the storyteller. How do we better know these stories?
Arabian Nights.
That is indeed correct. the answer is 1001 Arabian Nights. That was it for today. Great set. So Piyush is leading with 19 points, followed by Utkarsh with 15 points, Mithraa with 11 points, and Vidya with 10 points. Great game, guys. Thank you so much for joining
Thanks
us.
for
Thank you.
Thank you for reading,
Thank
Asmit.
you. Thank you, Asmit. Thank you, guys.
Good game, Piyush. See you. Bye.